Today, we're going to talk finding gold with a metal detector. Well, good morning all. We are up in the beautiful Sierras, and right now in the shade, it's perfect, other than the bugs. Boy, there's a lot of bugs. We're going to talk finding gold with a detector today, and I'm going to kind of cover basic stuff today with a few tricks. Now, two main things with a metal detector. One of them's hard, one of them's pretty easy. Number one, you have to know how to run your metal detector. And that's pretty easy. That just takes practice, takes understanding of the detector, and the more you run it, the better you get. The second thing is, doesn't matter how good you are, you can be the best on a metal detector on the planet. Unless you put that loop over gold, you're not going to find any. So the hard part is finding an area that has gold. And the best advice I can give on that is just go to where you know they've found gold, especially when you're first starting out, because you really don't want to go exploring with a metal detector until you're experienced at finding gold with the metal detector. Now, the area we're in today, everybody knows there's gold here because this place has been worked to death. And the thing is, I chose this spot because it has been worked to death, and hopefully we're going to be able to pull out some gold that other people have left because they didn't know how to run their detector properly. Now, the tools we're going to use today are pretty simple. Today, we got a crevice tool, a scoop, and one thing I don't normally carry, is just to speed things up, is I got a really powerful magnet. Now the reason I brought this, and I got my standard little tiny magnet for getting the little pieces of iron out of the scoop. Now, the reason I brought this one is today we're going to dig every single target, even the ones that I know are iron. And hopefully this will speed that up, because you need to get an idea of trash versus gold ratio. Well, this is the spot we're going to work. Now, why this spot? Several reasons. We have bedrock right here. We have tailings piles all around us. We got a nice stacked pile here. We have all through this section, up into here, we have gravel. When you get into a workings like this, where you got a pile of small gravel over here, pile of big rocks there, a pile of every kind of rocks right here, you know they were working in here pretty hard, so they were finding gold. Then number two is there's going to be a lot of trash. And that's good and that's bad. Bad thing is it's a lot of trash. The good thing is most people are going to skip over this area because they don't want to dig all the trash. Now, right over here, we got trash. And it looks like an old can that's rusted away. But this is a metal detector's nightmare. Lots of little pieces of flat iron. And you know this is going to be spread around here. Now, a lot of people are going to see that iron on the surface. They're going to get a couple of screaming targets, and they're going to leave this area because they don't want to deal with it. Well, we're going to grab the big magnet, And we're going to clean as much of that that's on the surface as we can. We're going to get that off to start out with. Now we have no idea which way we're going to go. So you want to try to keep all this iron together and keep it stacked nice and neat, or as well as you can, and put it in a spot that you don't think you're going to go. But if you just start tossing it, I guarantee you're going to end up wanting to go in that direction. So you want to try to keep it all together, put it up on top of some rocks where you know you're not going to go, or at least you don't think you're going to go. And that way you don't have to pick it up twice. Now this thing, this is really speeds this kind of stuff up. Okay, well, I got that. I went over the whole area real quick with the magnet, pulled up a few pieces of iron, a couple of old square nails, and so now I'm going to turn on the metal detector and I'm going to go over this area really quick to see if there's any more just loud screaming targets. Now here we have a loud target that sounds good. And here we have a loud target that sounds bad. And another target that's loud that sounds good. Several targets that I can guarantee you they're iron. We have several loud targets that could go either way. We got 2 loud targets that sound good, and then I found 3 light targets that can go either way. So what we're going to do now is let's start out with the bad targets. Let's get rid of the really noisy, loud ones that I think's iron. And our first target looks like part of a barrel hoop. Okay, I'm going to just go through, dig the real loud ones, and I'll just stack all the metal over here. Well, I've got all the loud targets out. We have all kinds of flat iron, pieces of metal, square nails, you name it. If it's worthless, we found it. Okay, now I have 2 targets that sound really good and a third maybe. So let's go take a look at those. Okay, we got 2 targets here and they both sound good to me. Now both these targets were in around that junk, and they're both really light targets. Anybody that came through here would have heard the garbage and just kept moving. Now these still can be garbage, even though they sound good, because for some reason or other those little tiny flat pieces of metal sound really good. Well, let's dig these up because I'm dying to find out what they are, and this place is starting to get into the sun. The first thing we're going to do is just take the top off. You see, we don't know if these are down deep or if they're really small on the surface. What I like to do is just take the top off and we'll check it. Now you hear how that target is giving us 2 sounds one way and one sound the other way. That's now it's starting to sound like a tack. Let's dig it up and find out. Now you hear how this target is now crisp. That makes me think it's a piece of gold now. I am not seeing anything in the scoop. And we got us a piece of gold. Dirty piece of gold, but a piece of gold no less. See here, we got a little chunky piece, got a lot of dirt on it. Clean it off a bit, and now you can see the gold. Okay, I'm going to throw this in the jar, and I'm having high hopes for that other target because it sounded just like this target. Okay, let's see what that one is. Now, the thing I want to do is get all these rocks out of here. It's in the scoop. Oh, we got gold. Now this one's dirty too, but it's got gold sticking out of the end. Let me show you. You can see the gold sticking out of the end right there. You know, this one, the target's right in here. I dug a small nail out of here. But this one is marginal. Let's see what you think. Now that target, being I dug a nail out next to it, the odds are pretty good it's a piece of that nail down a little deeper. But a marginal target like that is an absolute dig because it's far enough away, it could go either way. It could be a piece of gold that's just barely, it can just barely read it, or it could be a small piece of iron. But anytime you have a marginal target like that, it's a definite dig. Okay, let's see what it is. Now it sounds a lot more like iron. And it looks like it's getting closer to the nail. Well, I'm saying it's definitely iron now. But we still got to get it out of there. Our target turned out to be a big chunk of iron. Okay, check the hole and marry it up. I just checked the pile and we got a target in the pile. Sounds good to me, but the way it tails off, it's hard to tell. So let's see, probably just a small piece of iron, but we got to check it. Now that sounds really good. we got a piece of gold. You see right there, this one's a little chunkier than the other ones. Okay, let's give that thing a once over again, make sure that's it. Well, that was it. No more targets, and I'm starving. I'm gonna run back to the Jeep, have me some lunch. I'll be back. Well, I finished lunch, and the area we were working, that's all in the sun right now. So I think we're gonna change tactics. Now, like I was saying, to find gold with the metal detector, you go where gold's been found. And that's why we were down in there, because people found gold, they've dug the heck out of it. Then number two is you gotta look in the areas where the other people aren't gonna bother looking. That's why we went to where the trash is. Worst area, nobody wants to deal with it. Well, there's a third way, and that's what I'm gonna do right now, and that is go to places where most people have sense enough not to go there. So I'm gonna head down the hill, and there's a couple of spots I want to check out. And I'm thinking they should have gold, but they're pretty tough to get to. Now I'm gonna throw the GoPro in the pack and take it. That way, if we do come across some gold, we can film it. Okay, well, I'm gonna gather everything up, head down the hill. Well, I made it back up the hill, and I actually picked up some gold. I took the GoPro down there with me so I could film it. My first target sounded good. It was actually in a spot where I could film, turn the GoPro on, and right across the screen it said, no memory card. I forgot to put the memory card back in after I downloaded everything off of it my last trip out. So, like I've been telling you, I never said I was good at this. Well, let me show you the gold I got. We ended up with 11 pieces total. These are the pieces that were fairly clean, and these two got conglomerate on them. We'll clean those up when we get home. Well, it's hot. Yeah, I'd say it's hot. It's probably 75. But I'm beat. I'm gonna grab a cold drink and then heading back to the house. I'll see you guys back at the house. Back at the house, and you guessed it, it's the next day. Now I beat that gold all up, knocked what dirt I could off of it, and we ended up with 11 pieces. I got two really small pieces, came out of that conglomerate also, but I'm not counting them. So it's all sitting over by the scale, so what do you say we jump over there and see how we did? Okay, well, we ended up with 2.44 grams. Almost 2.5 grams. That just tickles me pink because I'm trying to stay in that 2.5 gram rut. Now, I get a lot of questions on what detector is the best one to start out with. And there is no right answer on that one. I mean, there's so many variables. It depends on the type of detecting you're doing, the area, the part of the country you're in. Give you a good example, if I lived in Nevada, I wouldn't be using the detectors I'm using now. There's way better detectors for out in the desert. So my best suggestion is if there's mining clubs in your area, join one. Go to the meetings, talk to the other people. When you're up in the hills, in the area you want to prospect, if you see somebody with a metal detector, go talk to him. Introduce yourself, find out what he's using, find out if he's finding gold, find out if he likes it. Because each area has a detector that's best for it. Okay, well, should be working on this stuff in the winter, not in the summer. Okay, well, that's all I got on this one. So I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.